Welcome to today's Opportunity360 demonstration and Q&A session. My name is Andy Masters with the Knowledge, Impact, and Strategy team here at Enterprise Community Partners. We are excited to have you with us. Since launching in September 2017, Opportunity360 has seen tens of thousands of visits. Users have accessed resources and tools to move their work forward. This includes nearly 200,000 measurement reports generated. Today, we will walk through a demonstration of Opportunity360, including the framework that undergirds the platform. We will cover the main sections of Opportunity360, measure, listen, partner, and engage, as well as the resources section. Assisting on the webinar today will be Donna Dunlap, who you already heard during the introduction. Whenever I start talking about Opportunity360, I like to begin with some level setting around common beliefs and agreement about what we are trying to accomplish through the Opportunity360 platform. To begin, we all want to build and support communities with a sense of hope and belonging. Each of those communities is unique, as is the sense of hope and belonging. It will look and feel different in every neighborhood. We also want everyone to have a shot at success. In the same way, what that chance looks like will vary from place to place and family to family. Each family in each neighborhood will need their own combination of supports and access to reach that success. Even more, we know that there are many ways to get to that place of success. There is not a single pathway, but innumerable routes. There is not a sole right way to get where we want to go, but many combinations that a family can travel to achieve the success they have in mind. This quote from Mr. Rouse really espouses everything that Opportunity360 tries to bring to light. We can't just settle for doing some housing, finding some jobs, or building some human support systems. We must do it all. Decent housing in decent neighborhoods for everyone. Opportunity360 reaches for the intersection of data from across sectors and includes resources to go beyond that data and move into community transformation. So what is Opportunity360? Enterprise Community Partners developed Opportunity360 as a way to try to begin to measure opportunity in communities we partner with. In early conversations, we realized that there are common lessons learned that can be applied to the platform. What are those lessons, and what have we learned are the important components of success? What are some best practices we can follow to achieve success? The next 4 points are addressed by the tools and resources in Opportunity360. First, projects should be grounded in rich and varied data. Bringing together cross-sector data provides a deeper, more thought-provoking view of communities. Next, projects should actively seek community support and buy-in. Residents will be in communities long after these projects are completed. It's best to engage communities as partners in transformation. Developers, investors, public agencies, community-based organizations, and residents should all be working together. All of these groups have a vested interest in seeing community transformation. Working together enables them all to achieve their measures of success. Finally, we should be sowing impact and sharing our successes along the way. Impact takes time, but we are able to share success stories throughout project phases. Those 4 points are not new or earth-shattering. So what makes community transformation challenging and elusive? First, we often find ourselves working in silos. These can exist within our organizations, within our sectors, or within communities. Next, the problems we are discussing are very complex. They are not going to be solved by a single CDC, NGO, government, or financial institution, or other organization. These complex problems require collective and collaborative solutions. The last bullet point refers to a common question that gets to the heart of competing priorities and a need for collective impact conversations. Opportunity360 is built on a framework of pathways and outcomes. We start with pathways because that is where our work happens. The 4 pathways in this framework are policies and systems, neighborhoods and networks, homes and buildings, and people. Each of these pathways connects to outcomes for the people living in communities across the country. These pathways are not mutually exclusive and do interact with one another. A project or initiative can impact multiple pathways, and efforts in one pathway can influence work in others. Opportunity outcomes are the results of the work along those pathways. Outcomes are what make our work meaningful and how we measure progress towards success. Enterprise leveraged our collective expertise and experience, along with a review of the existing landscape of opportunity measurement in creating these outcome areas. We ultimately developed 5 outcomes as part of our opportunity framework. Those 5 are housing stability, education, health and well-being, economic security, and mobility. If our pathways describe the characteristics of a community, opportunity outcomes describe the characteristics of people in that community. Pathways and outcomes work together. When those pathways are wide and clear, outcomes improve and success is at hand. However, when pathways become narrow or ineffective, outcomes can decrease. The Opportunity360 website is made up of 4 tools. Each of these holds resources and examples of how to use these tools to create community transformation. These tools will be described in the next section. First, we will discuss the Measure tool. The highlight of the Measure tool is the Opportunity360 Measurement Report. These free 25-page reports include over 150 indicators from 37 sources to create a holistic view of a community. This report is available for every census tract across the United States. Recently, Opportunity360 launched a new community engagement toolkit in the Listen section of the platform. The toolkit features over 40 tools and resources available to help users enhance the way they work with residents, partners, stakeholders, and others. Community transformation is most effective when partners are at the table with developers and community residents. By entering a zip code in the search bar, users are taken to AMPR at the site and are able to search a list of low and no-cost service providers serving that area. This can help find partners as well as identify gaps in services. Rounding out the tools is our Evaluate tool. Here you can find examples of how Enterprise has used Opportunity360 to begin to share our impact story using the opportunity framework described earlier. Now we will hop over to Opportunity360 for a demonstration of these tools. We start by going to Opportunity360.org. When you first log in, you will see our landing page. On this page is a great video that explains the ins and outs of Opportunity360. You can also follow us on Twitter and see our new and upcoming events. Scroll down a little farther and you will come to the Opportunity360 Toolkit. Here you will find the 4 tools mentioned a few moments ago. We will start with the Measure tool by clicking here. The Measure page starts with an overview of the Opportunity360 outcomes. Here you can see the kinds of indicators that go into the various outcomes. For example, the health and wellness outcome is a composite of indicators related to access and affordability of healthcare, as well as the number of indicators of health status. Scroll down a little further and you come to a map that allows you to search through any census tract and create a 25-page Opportunity360 measurement report. In the search bar, simply enter a street address, including city and state. Once you hit enter, the map will shift, and you will see a white call-out box with some information about your report. When you click the Get Enterprise Report button, a new window will open with your Opportunity360 measurement report for that specific census tract. As you scroll through the report, you will see several features. First, a map to orient you to where you are and what is included in your census tract. Next, you will come to a set of charts. These charts show you the opportunity index scores across the 5 outcomes as a percentile of the state, region, and nation. The top bar in each set is the state percentile, the middle bar is the region, and the bottom, darkest bar is the national percentile. For example, this census tract scores in the 33rd percentile nationally or higher than 33% of all other census tracts across the country in housing stability. It scores in the 26th percentile in the region and 29th percentile in the state. This chart allows you to quickly see a community's relative strengths and areas to grow. Scrolling down the scorecard, you see key indicators for each of the 5 areas called out. Following the housing stability example, you can see that 53% of residents are homeowners, compared with 66% in the region. And 58% of low-income renters are also severely cost-burdened, or spending more than 50% of their monthly income on housing costs, compared with 37% in the region. Under this information are footnotes that explain specifically what indicators go into each of the 5 outcome areas. For more information on this, you can look at our resources section for the index methodology document. Next, we will shift to the pathways section of the report. As I already mentioned, our opportunity framework includes both outcomes and pathways. The remainder of the report focuses on the pathways to improving outcomes. We start with a descriptor of the policies and systems pathway, then move into data around the neighborhoods and networks pathway. Here you will see 4 additional index scores. These percentile scores, like those for the opportunity outcomes, are at the state, region, and national levels. As you continue looking through the report, you will see nearly 150 indicators organized along the pathways to give you a good sense of what is happening in the community along each of these areas. There are maps and other visualizations to assist in understanding the data. The data is organized along our pathways, so you'll start with neighborhoods and networks, move into buildings, homes, and the mortgage market, and finish with the people section. That is the measurement tool in a nutshell. Next, I will hand the mic over to Donna to go through the Listen tool and our Community Engagement Toolkit.
At Enterprise, we believe that listening to the perspectives of the people in a community is critical to the change process. To help make this a bit easier, we've searched across the U.S. to find a variety of apps, resources, and methods to help you engage with residents, stakeholders, and community developers. These resources have been collected here into the Community Engagement Toolkit. Let's take a quick tour. Here on the home page, you'll see our Find a Tool search box, which we'll be using in just a sec. On the bottom half of the front page, you'll see our 6 most popular tools. Coming back to the search box, let's select a topic. For example, maybe your organization is looking to do more with mapping and data visualization as part of your community engagement efforts, but you're just not sure where to start. We'll select that option and click on the search button. And here on the right are our search results. There's actually 20 tools in this category if you were to scroll down further. Excuse me. Using the filters on the left, you can narrow down your results. Let's say, for example, you're really only interested in neighborhood-level work. Using the scale filter, we can narrow the results to tools that specifically address neighborhood-level work. Let's take a closer look at My Sidewalk, the second one listed. Here's the tool profile page for My Sidewalk. Each profile is divided into 3 sections. A description of what the tool is and what you can do with it. And on the right, a link to go to that tool's website, links for sharing through social media, information on any skills that you'll need in order to use the tool, and if it's available, the cost. At the bottom of each tool's profile page, you'll also find a selection of related tools. To wrap up our visit to the toolkit, here's a quick look at the About page, which features instructions on how to use the toolkit. and also a selection of case studies showing how other organizations have successfully incorporated many of these tools and practices into their work. We're constantly on the search for new and proven resources and strategies to add to the toolkit. If you've used a tool that you'd like to see included, please drop us a line. Andy, back to you.
Thanks, Donna. Switching over. To get to the Listen Toolkit, simply click the tools at the top and click Listen. And as Donna showed, you'll see the toolkit here. Now we'll take a look at the Partner tool. The feature here is a search bar that allows you to enter a zip code for anywhere in the country. We will use our zip code here. And Aunt Bertha will connect you to a listing of the low and no-cost service providers that report to serving that area. You can further narrow down your search. Let's say that many in our community engagement efforts pointed to a need for substance use treatment. I would look under Health and Substance Abuse Counseling. Here, I see a list of 41 providers. There are many categories to search through and a tremendous amount of information available through Aunt Bertha as a starting point for building strong partnerships. On the Opportunity360 site, there are 2 case studies that highlight how partnerships have been formed to create a meaningful and innovative change in communities. The 4th tool in the Opportunity360 toolkit is our Evaluate tool. This tool is useful in thinking through how to tell your story of impact. Opportunity360 can help community organizations, investors, and others benchmark community conditions at the time a community investment is made, monitor neighborhood conditions and dynamics over time, make the case for a comprehensive investment strategy that is cross-sector in orientation, align investments with organizational strategy through portfolio assessments, and to monitor community investment portfolios over time. The Evaluate tool includes resources and case studies to show how enterprise has told our impact story using the opportunity framework. For example, you can see 3 social return on investment reports here. Next, Donna will review the resources section of Opportunity360. Donna?
The collection of materials on the resources page reflect the continuing efforts of Opportunity360 and our partners to examine and share knowledge, research, and best practices. Here you can find links to such popular items as the Opportunity Zones eligibility tool that Andy will demonstrate in just a few minutes, recent webinars, and look for today's webinar to be showing up soon, and publications that take a deeper dive into the methods, challenges, and success stories of comprehensive community change. At the bottom of the page, there's a selection of additional resources pertaining to Opportunity360 that has been culled from our enterprise-wide resource center. The resources page is constantly being updated with new tools, webinars, and publications, so we hope you'll stop by often to see what's new. Andy?
Thank you, Donna. Shortly after the passage of the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, Enterprise launched its Opportunity Zones eligibility tool. After the zones were certified, Enterprise launched a new enhanced Opportunity Zone Explorer tool. This tool helps those interested in opportunity zones determine which tracts in their state or region have been designated and how they relate to other federal programs and designations. There are 2 pages to the Opportunity Zone Explorer. The first page allows you to search and filter to find zones that meet your interests. the filters at the bottom of the page allow you to filter by a variety of characteristics. We will search for the state of Maryland. Then we will choose to show only QCTs, or Qualified Census Tracts. You can also filter by Opportunity360 outcome scores. Here we will slide the housing stability score to the 50th percentile. When you hover over a census tract, you see a summary of a variety of characteristics, and there is a link to download the Opportunity360 measurement report, or to see a list of all the tracts that meet these criteria. The second page of the tool can be accessed by clicking the arrow in the top right corner of the screen. This page provides a comparison of zones that were designated and those that were not designated. On this page, you can select from a list of variables to see how the demographics and outcomes of people in communities that were designated as opportunity zones compare with other census tracts that were either not designated or not eligible to be designated as opportunity zones. Here again, we will select the state of Maryland. You can see the list of variables here. We will select renter-occupied units. What you see on this page is that residents of designated census tracts are disproportionately renters, high poverty, and severely cost-burdened. This means that those in designated opportunity zones in the state of Maryland are among the most vulnerable and in need of the investment opportunities that the Opportunity Zone program was designed to provide. That wraps up our brief demonstration of Opportunity360. Donna?
Excellent. Thank you, Andy. At this point, I'd like to open up for Q&A, and I would ask that if you've got a question, now is the time to ask it. If you haven't already typed your question into the Q&A panel, please do so. It is located on the lower right-hand side of your screen. Please address your questions to all panelists, which is the default. And as you're thinking of your questions, we're getting some coming in. We've gotten several folks who've asked about copies of the slides, and yes, they will be part of the archive. We'll be sending a link out to all participants. We generally say within 48 hours. We hope to have it out within 24, and that will include a link to the recording and a PowerPoint copy of the slides. And our next question regards, there are several people who are asking if they can get data at the same time on more than one census tract. Andy, can you handle that one?
Unfortunately, that functionality is not currently available within Opportunity360. We're looking into solutions that would allow people to pull together combined census tract reports, but right now Opportunity360 is built at a census tract level, and it doesn't allow you to pull reports across multiple census tracts or at the city or county level. If you are interested in county level data on housing stability, on the Solutions tab of the Opportunity360 page, and if you bear with me just 1 second, I can share with you how to get there. No, I can't. On the Opportunity360 page in the Solutions tab are our housing stability profiles. These profiles provide a deep look with over 100 indicators strictly on the outcome area of housing stability. Those are available at the level of many cities and counties across the country. If you go to the Opportunity360 and then under Solutions, the Housing Stability Profile page, you can click on the Get Started button, send your information, and our team will respond to you with information to help you understand if we're able to provide a housing stability profile in your city or county.
Okay. We have a question here regarding, actually several folks have asked, how often is the information updated in the measurement report and the measurement tool?
We anticipate annual updates. We should have an update coming out in the coming months with the newest ACS data. We have over 37 different sources of data, and so as those new sources become updated, we will be regularly updating those annually.
Great, thank you. We have one question regarding, do we have disability as one of the indicators?
We do not. Unfortunately, that is not an indicator that is currently, but as it is something for us to consider and think about how we include disability status in Opportunity 360 in the future.
Okay. Can you separate data for tribal nations?
We just had a focus group with folks from tribal nations, and that's something that we're continuing and going to be focusing on this year, is how do we improve the work that we do with rural and Native American population groups, and how we support the needs of data collection for folks living on reservations and living in hyper-rural locations.
Is the data pulled for download, is that in Excel or a PDF?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
The data pulled for download, the measurement report, is that in Excel or a PDF?
The measurement report is in a PDF.
Okay. What is the cost of the measurement report?
All of the measurement reports are 100% free. The housing stability profile does have a fee associated with it. That is $1,500, but the 25-page measurement report that's available at the census tract level is made available for free. The only thing we ask is that when you first log in, you provide us your email address and your zip code so we know where you're coming from.
Yeah. Can we get Opportunity 360 reports for census data from different years to look at how the opportunity landscape has changed throughout the life course of an area?
We're looking at a change over time model. Right now, we just have the census data from the 2016 ACS, and we'll be updating with the 2017 ACS. But for right now, we just have 1 year's worth of data. Again, we are looking at a change over time or multiple year data model.
Do you have proprietary sources of data included here, or is it primarily ACS and other publicly available data?
We have a mixture of publicly available data and proprietary data. The proprietary data and the use agreements around those are why we don't make available the raw scores and the raw download of the data. We use a mixture of those things, and our contracts with those proprietary providers prevent us from being able to allow the download of the raw back data.
And how is region defined in Opportunity 360?
For areas that are in a core-based statistical area, the CBSA, that is what the region is. For those that are not in a CBSA, we define region as the county.
Okay. Could Opportunity 360 be used as a reference source in a report, or do we have to cite the base data that you use?
Best practice would be to cite the base data and go back to that, but you can use Opportunity 360. I've seen it used as its own reference.
Okay. Do the notes show the census years used for the various data sources?
The notes show the census years. If you go to, in that resources section that Donna shared, hold on one second, I'm actually going to pull it up. In the resources section of Opportunity 360, you can actually go to our data dictionary. It's one of the first things that we posted. and it shows information for all of our, here's the index methodology and the Opportunity 360 data dictionary, and this shows the data that for each of the 37 sources that we pulled in.
Okay. Can you get you may have addressed this already, but can you create a custom region in the tool to get reports and see information outside of census tracts?
Right now, our functionality is limited to one census tract at a time for the measurement reports, but as I mentioned, we are looking at doing custom geographies. If this is something that you're interested in more recently and would like to have a conversation with us about working with us as consultants, we would be happy to have that. Go ahead and send us an email at opportunity360@enterprisecommunity.org.
Okay. Is there going to be a change soon in what data is available for free?
The Opportunity 360 measurement reports will always be made available for free. That is not something that we anticipate changing. We will be updating with the newest ACS data in the coming weeks or months. We're processing that data as we speak.
Okay. Are there any resources from Opportunity 360 on profiles of Opportunity Zone investment funds? There seems to be more information about the census tracts than funds interested in the areas and regions and investment areas.
If you're interested in Opportunity Zones, you can go to the Opportunity 360, or I'm sorry, Enterprise has information on Opportunity Zones. I'm trying to recall the website, but if you go to our Opportunity Zone Explorer and click on this link in the top line, this is Enterprise's information about Opportunity Zones. So from here, there's lots of information about Opportunity Zones and the Opportunity Zone program.
Great. In the measurement reports, excuse me, is there a way to know the amount of blighted housing in a county?
We only go to the census tract level. We don't have county level data, and I'm not sure that we have a single measure of blight in the Opportunity 360 measurement report. That's a good question.
See, I don't recall if I already asked this one. Do we also include veteran status?
That is a stumped question. I will get back to that person by email once I have a chance to scour the report. I don't believe so, but we may.
Okay, great. All right, we are at the bottom of the list, but I know there's more questions out there. So while I'm waiting for a few more to show up, again, just a reminder that the session has been recorded. So if you missed any part of it, or you just want to revisit, or you want to share it with a friend, we'll be sending a link to the recording and the slides within 48 hours, probably 24. And we certainly recommend that you spread that far and wide. And also, please take a very, very few minutes. Once you leave the session, you'll be getting a brief evaluation form. I think it's like 5 questions. And we really do appreciate your feedback on those. So if you could take the time to fill that out, that would be wonderful. I'm doing a last call here. I don't see any more questions showing up. No. I'll give it one more second. We also, when we send out the link to the recording, we're including a link to a survey that we've been sending around to folks who've been using Opportunity 360. And it's a slightly longer version, and you can give us some feedback on how you're using Opportunity 360 and what's worked for you, maybe something that hasn't worked for you, sort of a general overview of how Opportunity 360 has been working for the folks who have been using it. Again, that's another survey that we'll send a link to with the recording link. And with that, it looks like we've got a few more questions that have come in. Is there a way to know the amount, the number of homeowners in a census tract?
So we don't give out raw numbers like that. What we do is generally have percent of homeownership. If you scroll to both the homes mortgage markets, here's where you can get some information about the homeownership rate. For this census tract, it's 52.8%. As you go down to the people, you get more information about the individual folks as far as percent of low-income households that are cost burden, percent of households that have multiple, and the median home owner housing cost burden. But we don't have a raw number that says in this census tract there are X number of homeowners in a specific area.
Okay. And we got a question that was answered, but I think we should make it public to everyone. Reminder that which was the tool that was a fee-based tool that was $1,500? What was the name of that one?
Sure. The measurement reports that we demoed today, these measurement reports are available for free. You go to opportunity360.org/measure and you can download that. But if you're interested in digging deeper into housing stability, you can go to the solutions page and the housing stability profiles section. And this will give you information about our housing stability profiles, which are a deep dive into the housing stability outcome area of Opportunity360.
Excellent. Thank you. Any estimates as to when you'll have the capability to aggregate data to community, county, and state levels?
I don't have an estimate as to when that's going to be available. It's something that as we think about what we want, how we have to explore that functionality and how to be able to build that in there, so that those scores can be dynamically recalculated.
And is there a way to measure how many homes are second homes or owned by people who are not living in the community?
I don't think we have that in there, but I will double check and get back to that person.
Okay. How long does it typically take to complete the deep dive $1,500 stability profile?
2 weeks.
Okay, 2 weeks. And waiting for some more questions. We'll give it just another second here to see if anybody, we've got some more. We've gotten some great ones in. This is terrific. Don't be shy. This is the time to type it in if you've got a question. All right. We have a question about where we can find the archives, and I'm assuming that's this webinar archives that I've been plugging. And in two places, one, you'll be getting a link to the archive, and two, the archives will all be posted on there. Andy, you've got it on the resources page, and you'll see on that page a link to both the recording and the slides there on the Opportunity Zones resources page. And do you have any information available for investors or funding for housing projects?
I'm not 100% sure what you mean by the question, but I will definitely follow up with that by an email because that sounds like a great one. Unless you want to clarify that a little bit more, information, do you mean on who is investing in a community and what funding is available, or information that's specifically of interest to investors? I think that's where I'm confused about that question.
Okay, we'll try and get some clarity on that one. Let's see. This question is, the measure tool is fantastic, but it looks like the partner aspect has been offloaded to Aunt Bertha. Are there any plans to further develop this aspect of resource identification by Opportunity360?
I don't think we want to replace Opportunity or Aunt Bertha on the site. I think there are lots of different ways that are regionally specific that have great partners. I think of 211 as a great regional partnership development tool or partnership identification tool. Aunt Bertha works well for our purposes because it's a national database. And so our goal was not to recreate something. It was rather to point people to a great place to start thinking about who the partners are and identifying some of the key partners. But In-Bertha is one tool in each neighborhood in each region of the country likely has their own set of service provider locators. And so In-Bertha is a great starting point, but I would encourage you to also look for some of the more locally based service provider location tools as well.
Let's see. Is there any way to access previous year's measurement reports / data?
As I mentioned, right now we only have the 2016 ACS data. We'll be refreshing the scores with the 2017 ACS data, and we are looking at a change over time framework, and we'll be looking at that so that we can start looking at multiple years data. But for right now, we're focused on one census tract and one set of years.
And I will also put a plug in for our mailing list, which you can join when you're on the page on Opportunity360, because announcements for things such as data refreshes will be going out through the mailing list. Let's see. Do we have any information, I'm assuming in the measurement report, that benefits strategies for economic development, retail retention, Main Street strategies, et cetera?
I think the measurement report was designed not just to be for housing, but it was designed with cross-sector data. So there's an entire section, sorry, I'm on the wrong page. There's sections in here that give you not just the housing stability piece, but as you scroll down through, we look at pieces like economic security, percent of people in poverty, medium household income. We look at mobility. We tried to make this as broad a look at with 150 different indicators as possible. We have a whole section on jobs, goods, and services, section on the environment, section on community institutions, social capital and cohesion. So we tried to make this as broad as possible. We do have a large section on the mortgage market and housing, but we also have a lot of information on at the individual people level, age and family structure, race and ethnicity, income and poverty, employment, education. So we tried to make this as broad as possible so that it can be used by those in the economic development sector, that it can be used by those in the housing sector, used by those in the community development sectors. Tried to think of as broad an audience as possible.
Great, thank you. In the measurement reports, can the data be narrowed down by zip codes?
Unfortunately, we are only able to look at census tract level data. In some places, what you'll see, like you're seeing on the screen, you see that the highlighted column here is for the census tract. We do, where we have it, make the comparison available for the region and for the nation, and we try to show annual average annual change, but we don't have it by zip code.
Okay. For the evaluate tool, how is the evaluate pathway utilized? Is it a consulting arrangement, or is it just using the measurement tool?
So our evaluate tool is showing examples of how we have used the opportunity framework to tell the story of the impact that we've had. So for example, our most recent social return on investment strategy report here shows how investments in Cleveland, in St. Luke's Hospital campus, transformed a community, and we tie it to some of the Opportunity360 outcome areas. And so there's different ways that you can think about the Opportunity360 outcome areas and pathways to think about how are we evaluating the work that we're doing. So our evaluate tool gives examples of different ways.
And all right, I'm caught up on questions, so if you've got any more, now's the time to type them in. Give just a sec to see if we have any questions remaining. I think I've used up all my plugs for the evaluation afterward and the recording link, but just don't forget us when you log out that we would love to have you fill out our evaluation form. Again, I think it's only like 5 questions. No, I think we've actually hit the bottom of the question pile. So with that, Andy, do you want to wrap us up?
I just wanted to say thank you all for the interest in Opportunity360. We're happy to hear from you. Again, you can follow us on Twitter. You can email us at opportunity360@enterprise.org, and we'd love to hear especially how are you using Opportunity360 and how is it providing the tools that you need to create meaningful community transformation. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
And that officially ends today's webinar. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope to see you online again soon. Goodbye.